Hi, everyone. Welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed, the television edition for May 9th, 2012. Coming to you here from the QCE News studio. If you're viewing this live, you're no doubt watching this on either QCEnews.com or IPMNation.com, the Matt Connarton Unleashed television edition page, or on the QCE News channel on IPMNation.com at IPMNation.com/QCE News. Joined by the what do you call yourself? You're the head of QCE News.
What? The CEO.
The CEO of QCE News and QCEnews.com, Mr. Glenn R.J. Willett. It's just Glenn and I. I'm a little bummed that Chris Rose couldn't make it tonight. I mean, I certainly understand, but we're bummed because big news. Chris is gay, so
he would have loved that.
This is an important.
I'm bi and I like it.
Yes. Now, because you're bi, and this is big news for gay people, Glenn, does that mean you're only 50% glad?
No, I'm 100% glad.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure how that works.
Well, it works both ways.
You work both ways.
They had figures today on the ABC because I guess ABC had an interview with the president today.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get home in time tonight to watch Nightline at 11:30,
yes,
11:35, they'll have all the interview on there, or again tomorrow morning on the Good Morning America.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we plug it in ABC or what?
I was gonna say, Nightline that doesn't run on our networks.
But anyway, no, it doesn't. I will get a copy of it and try to get it on there.
Okay.
But when I'm doing the numbers, voters under 40 under, 53% in favor. Voters over 50, actually it was over 60. Over 50, I guess, but over 60, 50, 60, was 43% in favor.
Yes.
So it's almost there. So he did take a chance.
Yes, he did.
Because the young people vote, but did they vote as much as the seniors? But you know, Matt, on the party lines, basically the Republicans don't favor it.
Right.
A lot less than the Democrats, who favor it a lot more.
Although with many exceptions.
Many exceptions, that's right. I said in the majority.
Yeah.
The Democrats favored a lot more than the Republicans do. But in the independent world, and we now know there are more registered undeclared voters, independent voters in this country as well as in New Hampshire, but definitely also in this country. And it's doing it again. Sony is giving us a hard time.
Yeah, what does that mean, Glenn?
It means happy birthday. I don't know why. So
we apologize for the obstruction on your television screen.
The camera that was supposed to be used was forgotten at somebody else's house.
This is a really unique. What's it saying? It's saying simulated at night. Simulated what? Oh, the night shot. Now it says night shot. So it's like night vision. Ooh, that's very. Okay. Yeah, it's gone.
Is it in color?
There was something. It is in color. We are live and in color, and I'm signing into the chat room here for those of you who wish to chat with us. Looks like the chat room is open. So
the independent voters are also much more, at least 50% in favor, if not more. So if you look at it that way, you would include the Democratic voters and the independent voters, you're well over 60%.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, there's a risk, but I think it's a smaller risk. And I wonder if Vice President Biden triggered it. Because on Sunday, he slipped something that even himself at the end said, I can't speak about that because I'm not the president. He makes the policies. I'm just the vice president.
Right.
So I really think, and according to all the other reporters too, he was really giving his honest opinion that he's come to terms with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he really didn't outspeak it. And he cleared that. The second time around, the question was re-asked, will the president do the same thing in the second term? He said, I can't speak for the president.
Right.
Which told you a lot there. But I think, if anything, the president was going to do it like maybe after the month of June.
Yeah.
And now it's out of the mouth, so to speak. It's out of the house.
Right.
It's out of the closet.
That's right. Obama has come out of the closet with his position on gay marriage.
So he had to His wife feels the same way. By the way.
Yes, yes. According to the article here, actually on Huffington Post, it says that Gary and I, Gary Hopper, my co-host on Rock Paper Hand Grenades,
He was here a couple weeks ago.
who was here a couple weeks ago. I did invite him back tonight, but he had a very long day.
Mhm.
But we were talking actually off air after we did Rock Paper Hand Grenades tonight. Gary bought me a taco at 99-cent tacos at Margarita's. Did you know that, Glenn? Very good deal. So thank you, Gary, if you're watching. Thank you for dinner. But we were chatting about this, and Gary, even though he does not agree, he doesn't like Obama. Gary is a Republican, pretty conservative, and he does not agree with same-sex marriage. He opposes it. However, he did give Obama credit for having the balls to come out with this. There's that phrase again. Come out with this position that he is for gay marriage, because up until very recently, Obama's public statements had been very careful, and I believe the official position of the Obama administration was that they were not going to defend DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act.
That's correct.
Or as someone who is pro-gay marriage, I call it the Indefensible Defense of Marriage Act. They were not going to defend it. They were not going to do anything to support it, but they weren't going to actively support pro-gay marriage legislation either. But we were kind of talking about, Gary and I were talking about, well, why do this now? What is Obama's reason for doing this now? Because there doesn't seem to be, from Gary's perspective, there doesn't seem to be anything to gain politically from doing this right now. He could still kind of continue to play it safe. He looks to be, electorally speaking, right now in a good position in terms of winning re-election in November. So why do this now?
I think it's two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The base.
Mm-hmm.
Which
has been disappointed in him in many ways,
yes.
the liberal base.
They haven't, because on gay rights, he's followed everything except this gay marriage. It was his last thing he needed to do on the checklist of 12 things. I mean, he got rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and lot of other things.
True.
So this was the last thing, and they figured it's time. And then when Biden went out and spoke, in fact, it just came out. It was so in his mind that it came out that all of a sudden the base started pressuring him, you have to come out now.
Right.
And he kept saying for the last year and a half that I am, the reasoning behind this is I am evolving with it. Well, when are you going to get evolved?
Right.
He finally did.
Right.
So I suspect since Sunday, there was so much pressure. So much pressure.
Sorry, folks, about the echo there.
So that he finally said, they talked it over and said, we got to do this now. Now, Romney, funny, because Romney let the Marriage Act in Massachusetts pass. It wasn't underneath his watch.
Right.
And he's flip-flopped left and right. But today he said that it was an important issue. Not what he said. He said it was a delicate issue, but he had not changed his position. And somebody, what is that position? I'm still in favor of one man, one woman for marriage. And I'm not even quite sure if civil unions even meet the match anymore. So,
well, I think when Romney, in fairness, when Romney says, I do not change my position on something, what he literally means is, I do not change my position on what I was thinking 5 or 6 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's what he literally means.
That's what you call a real definition of a flip-flop.
Yeah, so when you say, when you ask him if you changed your position, you have to be very specific.
But I still contend, and it's already been proven, that 53 to 57% of married heterosexual, straight couples that are married, 53 to 57% of them get divorced within the first 5 to 7 years. So how can they say that if gay marriage becomes a national acceptance, that would ruin the family? They had no parts in the heterosexual getting divorced.
Right.
Number one. Number two is, you have today a lot of children that are in need of being adopted. Now, the GOP, the strictly conservative, who believe that, who are against abortion. I'm against abortion, except for a few exceptions. Emergencies do occur, but they claim that that these kids need to live. They do. But why is it that these same people who feel that way, when it comes to adopting their family, they go outside this country, too many of them? Now, isn't that hypocritical?
I personally know someone who adopted a child from China. several years back.
And are they against abortion?
Uh,
I'm talking about people who say
yes.
they're strictly against abortion,
Yes.
but when it comes to adoption, some of them will go outside the country instead of adopting
Yeah.
people that are right here who need it. So you can't say I'm against abortion and these kids should all live, but you want support them money-wise because you're cutting the budget, that's what the GOP is doing, and two, when you do adopt, a lot of you, not most, a lot of you will go outside the country.
Yes.
Now, how hypocritical is that? So what happens to these kids if they're born? I think it's more important that we deal with today's society, and that is contraceptives. Now, I know it's an issue, it's a religious issue, but you know, right here in our own city, we have a Catholic hospital, CMC, Catholic Medical Center. Now, they're against abortion. It's a big fight all the time. But they were going to join with Dartmouth, which is in favor of abortions. That's why it didn't happen, because of it just doesn't work.
Right.
But why is it then that CMC will give a woman the after pill? And then they say, well, the reason why we're doing that is because it alleviates their nausea. Well, you know, before they had the after pill, which is not very old.
What does being from Nashua have to do with it?
Nausea.
Oh, I apologize.
Sorry.
I forget that you're French.
Nausea. Before that happened, they had other medication that did the job very well.
Right.
That's hypocritical.
I just now that's something where we disagree. The morning after pill, Glenn,
wasn't created for nausea. Come on.
No. But Glenn, do you oppose contraception? Do you oppose the pill? A woman taking a pill every day to prevent getting pregnant? Because it's the same thing.
My opinion on that is, you know, I'm a male. I can't have kids. The woman needs to take that choice for herself. You know, it's funny how men say that they respect their wives and they respect women, but then they turn around and make all these demands. Would they take a pill or would they not to prevent an abortion?
But Glenn, here's the point that I'm making though. There's a difference between an abortion and the morning after pill.
There is a difference, yes.
Some people confuse the morning after pill with RU486, which is the abortion pill. They are not the same thing. If you oppose the morning after pill,
it's not that I oppose it. I'm trying to make a point here that when a Catholic hospital says we allow the after pill because it alleviates the woman's nausea, that's baloney. But that's the same confusion as what you just created with the other one. It is different.
Well, it is different. So do you think maybe they say that so to sort of placate the people who don't understand the difference?
It's hypocritical. Do you actually believe, and we're not doctors, but do you actually believe that the after pill was created to alleviate women's nausea?
No,
of course not.
No, it was created to, it's an extremely high dose of birth control. It's created to prevent pregnancy.
Okay. So when they give you that answer, don't tell me that's not hypocritical, that's why they allow it. If you're against abortion, you're against it all the way.
But it doesn't cause an abortion. So where's the hypocrisy?
Well, it doesn't cause the abortion.
It prevents pregnancy.
Which is the same thing according to them. That's how conservative they are.
Well, that's what some people think because, like I said, they don't know the difference between the morning after pill and
there is a
RU486.
Yes. One prevents.
Coming up. Oh, look at that.
One prevents. I don't know why it's doing that.
we have some very this is a unique edition of Matt Connarton Unleashed because we don't usually have graphics.
We don't normally have this camera.
It's kind of like
Is it off?
It's kind of like watching one of those programs like the Financial Network, like CNBC, where you see you can almost barely see the news anchors because there's so much graphics on the screen.
You know,
it's kind of like that.
We need a camera.
Apparently we do. Someone should donate one to QCE News.
Either donate one or help us pay for one. On Friday, we always announce our package, what we need.
Yes.
This week, by the way, we did earn a portable DVD, which is compact, which will be good for us.
Yes.
And we'll be getting that on this coming Sunday.
Yes.
So thank you, Dan.
Absolutely, Dan Randlett.
But do you see what I'm coming at? You know, you can't. You just made a reference between the abortion pill, I should say the pill, and the what is it?
RU486.
Now, there's a big difference in that.
Right, and that's illegal in the U.S., I believe.
But there is just as big a difference between the after pill, which actually stops a birth from being conceived.
It prevents implantation. Yes.
Versus it does not, or it wasn't created because the most effective part of that pill will alleviate a woman's nausea.
Right.
I don't think so.
But you know why that comes up a lot too? Because women, like when the whole Rush Limbaugh calling Sandra Fluke a slut and whatnot, you know, I mean, first of all, it's obviously it's inappropriate for him to say that, but although I do use audio from that as an intro for the radio version of my show now because it's kind of funny. I do, yeah, it's just funny, but
Rush must love you.
But some women, he doesn't know I exist. But if he wants to talk, if he wants to say negative things about me on his radio show,
let him.
Hey, as long as they spell your name right,
you will use it against him.
Absolutely, I'll gladly accept the free publicity. But you know, some women do use birth control pills to regulate their cycle and whatnot.
And is it? I believe isn't it Chris Rose that said that he knew someone that when they were talking about getting rid of contraceptives on the congressional side, that there are some women that use it for other medical conditions as well.
Sure,
it's like anything else. There are some medications that the pharmaceuticals have created, and as it gets used, and they keep evolving with it, I guess, testing it, they find out that it also alleviates other issues, and this is what's happening with the pill. Now we also know that the pill, if you take it for a long generation to generation, there is a bigger chance of you getting cancer.
There are risks.
So but then there's risks to any medication.
Of course.
Long term.
Yes, absolutely.
That's why I'm always with the belief that if I have to take medication for an immediate cause, I will take it. Mm-hmm. But once that cause is gone, I need to get off of that because most medications do have a side effect, one way or another. If not right away, it does in the long term. And then many medication will cause you to have an addiction after a while, especially your strong pain medications.
Yes.
So why would you want to stay on there? Just for the heck of it? And then the cost of it.
Right. That is true. So getting back to the gay marriage, I think.
Yeah, how did that go from pills to gay marriage?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you know, gay people can't have children, at least not.
Oh no, that's how it came out because a lot of adoptions are being done through the gay family. Mm-hmm. Now, some of these.
They're a wonderful family, by the way.
They are.
The gays, they live across the street from me. They're very nice people.
Some of these GOP strict religious right conservatives believe that homosexuals can't raise family; they're deviant. Mm-hmm. But you know, let's talk a little bit about deviancy and unlawful sex. For example, rape and what do you call that when you have a father has sex with a kid?
Incest?
Incest and stuff like that, or sex offenders. Mm-hmm. Now, in this country, according to the latest statistic taken about a year ago, 95% of them are white, single men. Mm-hmm. I mean, single men who, not just single men, but let me clarify that. It's white men who have no siblings. Mm-hmm. They're by themselves in their family.
Yes.
They're the only child. So it didn't say it was homosexuals or African Americans or Latinos. It said white.
Right.
So it sounds kind of racist, but I feel like I'm racist when I say that. But those are the facts. Right. I'm only going by the facts. So how can you say that a homosexual family cannot legitimately raise a kid? It's going to ruin our families.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you married people? You've already done that. I was married and I'm divorced. I'm part of the problem.
Yeah.
I don't argue that, but don't tell me that it's the homosexuals that caused that issue. It's not.
Here's the problem, Glenn, and I think because I think a lot about this. I think that conservative Christians, this is why so many conservative Christians will never accept homosexuality, and why they will never change their mind. They are locked into the idea that theologically, that because of a passage in the Bible and the thing is, when you start quoting Bible passages, and this is what they do, you can kind of interpret things however you want to, but conservative Christians, or even conservative, not necessarily serious Christians, but people who just happen to be conservative thinkers in many cases, they believe, and nothing is going to ever change their minds. They believe, this is the true problem. This is where the divide is. that homosexuality is a lifestyle choice. They don't believe and accept that you're born that way, that it's something that happens genetically. They truly believe that you choose to be gay. And that's where the deviancy comes in from their point of view. Now, I did an express edition, one of my 30-minute editions of this show, where I made the argument why I believe there are two key reasons why I disagree with people who regard gay people or people who are bisexual as yourself as it being a lifestyle choice. I do not believe that anyone chooses to be gay.
It's not.
And there are two reasons why. One of them is, and Glenn, you're bi, and Chris isn't here this week, but he's gay. One of the reasons is, frankly, because gay people tell me they don't choose to be gay, that they're born that way. And frankly, I'll take your word for it, because if you're gay or bi, you're the expert. So if you tell me you were born that way, I have no reason not to believe you. I'm straight. I've been straight all my life. So I have no reason to believe otherwise. If a gay person tells me that he was born gay, I'm going to believe him because he's the expert. That's one reason. But the other reason, and this is where I think the logic of it's a lifestyle choice or it's a behavior, where the logic of that completely breaks down. A straight person such as myself, I did not choose my sexuality. See, for you to believe that gay people choose to be gay, then you have to believe that you choose, right, exactly, that you choose your sexuality. Now, I, as a straight person, I'm sorry, but I do not remember any point in my life during my development when I was a kid, growing up, going through puberty and all that. I don't remember it ever entering my mind, let's see. Okay, I think I like chocolate better than vanilla. I think I like Coke better than Pepsi, and I think I like girls better than boys. I'm not sure, but no, it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't work that way. You are who you are, and it happens naturally. I did not choose to be straight. If the idea is true, those of you who believe that gay people choose to be gay, that would mean that in theory, think about this. Think about your own sexuality as a straight person. That would mean that you as a straight person or I as a straight person, we could just decide to be gay at any time, right? After all, if it's a choice, if it's something you simply decide to do, then as a straight person, at any point you could just decide, well, I think today I'll be gay. But we know logically that doesn't work. I, as a straight person, I can't choose to be gay. I can't decide to be attracted to men. Don't get me, Glenn R.J. Willett is a powerful and attractive man.
Oh,
but I, as a straight person, I can't decide. I can't choose to be attracted to Glenn or any other man because I was born straight and that's how I am. So I don't believe for a minute, frankly, the idea seems completely absurd to me that anyone actually consciously chooses their sexuality.
It's a brainwash.
Yeah, it's just not logical. Because, like I said, if gay people chose to be gay, that would mean straight people choose to be straight. And all of you straight people out there, I guarantee you did not choose to be straight. You just turned out that way.
You know what else too, Matt, is you have some very, very seriously believe, there it goes again, folks. Let me go do it again. You have some very serious people that are gay that are very religious. And because of what society is doing, it is preventing them from practicing their religion within their church.
Yes.
Because they are constantly being pushed and pushed and pushed.
Right.
Now, if you're a straight man and you cheat on your wife and you go to church and they keep saying, well, Matt, you got to stop cheating. You're going to go to hell. You're going to go to hell. Eventually, you're either going to accept it and change your position, or you're going to stop going to that church.
Right.
There's no difference.
Right. It does. It does. I'm sure.
Man changes people's lives.
Gene Robinson, who's the he's what is he now? He's pretty high up in the New Hampshire Episcopal Church.
Yes, he's the bishop.
The bishop. He's openly gay. And you know, he's talked a lot about. I'd like to get him as a guest. Actually, he'd be very interesting to talk
that
to.
would be great. We should think about
He's
that.
talked a lot about.
And he likes talking to people, so that should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely, and
Yeah.
he's very open about the struggles that he's had to go through. So, you know, I think, but this is why, again, and I think I've laid out a very logical argument for why gay people don't choose to be gay, but um, you know, conservative Christians will probably never accept that, and that's why, you know, sometimes it's kind of like those of us who are pro gay marriage. It's kind of like, you know, we're banging our heads against the wall here because we'll never be able to bridge that divide with those who are against gay marriage for religious reasons, because they believe, because of a passage in the Bible that I personally think was probably a metaphor for something else. Who knows? But if you look at that and if you believe that everything that's in the Bible is literally, oh, I'm sorry, I just went back to the chat room, and Corey J. Turner is in the chat room. Spaceman Turner, welcome to the show, Corey. Corey says that tablecloth is the best. Thank you, Corey. Wish you were here with us, by the way. You
It's
know,
our
you're welcome
kitchen
anytime.
table.
It's our kitchen table. And Corey also says being gay is a pain in the ass. I think that's meant to be a joke.
How would he know?
And then he says, "Don't read that."
Don't read that.
Yeah, how would you know, Corey? Did you choose to be gay for a day?
As far as I know,
Gay
he's
for a
not.
day?
Gay for a day.
Gay
Yeah.
for a day.
It's not like a career for a day. It doesn't
Right,
work that
right.
way.
Yeah, career day. Yes, yes.
That's another reason why that proves it's not a choice. You don't choose to be. Well, I'm going to cheat on my wife today, and I'm going to go out with a man. I don't think so.
Right, right.
If you're doing that, then you already had questions to begin with.
Right. Paxton88, who is Chris Rose, is also in the chat room and says, "Evening, gentlemen."
Good evening.
So,
Where are you tonight?
good to have some chat room activity. By the way, if anyone wants to join the show via Skype, Skype is open. You can Skype with us. IPM Nation, of course, is our Skype ID, or whatever you call it with Skype.
Do you also have a camera on this, so you can get them through Skype, visual?
Yes.
So all we would need is a second camera for that.
Yeah, actually, in theory,
We need
yes.
to look about that. Think about that someday.
Chris says, "Tell Glenn I'm avoiding him."
Why?
I don't know. Does he owe you money?
No. Did I say something I wasn't supposed to say?
Did you were you rude to Chris Rose?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm sure he's kidding.
Anything's possible.
I'm sure he knows why, he says.
Do you know what? If you give me a second, I'll go in the other room and we need to install the jack. Can you install that in your system?
Oh, the Magic Jack?
Yes, people can call in.
Yeah, we'll do that for next week. Yeah,
All right,
that's
so
a
Chris,
good idea.
that'll be your job next week.
We're already halfway through
now
the
he's
show.
not going to talk to me for sure.
I know, right? But you know, everybody can is free
So
to
why don't
Skype
you
with us.
ask him what he thinks about what the president did today, and maybe you can call your phone and we can put that on the air.
That's true. Well, he can. I think Chris has Skype on his computer. He can always. Chris, if you want to
Wait.
Skype with us, go ahead. Oh, the mic will pick that up.
Oh, okay.
I have the volume up on this. Chris, if you want to Skype with us, feel free. IPM Nation, and you can tell us your opinions because you are gay, and unlike Glenn, you are 100% gay.
He's 100%.
Now, being bi, Glenn, I mean, is it literally 50-50, or how does that work?
No, it's not. Well, I guess it could be for some, but
Hmm.
for some it's 40-60.
40-60, yeah.
Me, what is it? I'd probably tell you that it's
95-5.
Oh no.
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's Norm.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
he's been married 4 times.
Yes.
I would probably say that it's 75-25.
75-25.
And I won't tell you which way.
I think we can guess.
You can guess.
Corey J. Turner in the chat
But
room
it
says
is not a choice.
Corey in the chat room says Matt plus Glenn plus mood lighting equals magic. Well,
Really?
and Chris says same-sex marriage is an abomination and an affront to God.
Which Chris is that?
Oh, that's Chris Rose. So apparently, Chris has turned straight and religious on us.
Overnight.
Yes, yes. Well, this is quite the development here on
It is.
IPM Nation and QC News.
I expect you on Friday to bring your girlfriend.
Yes, yes. Very interesting. So, but anyway, so that's why we'll never agree. You know, the Christian right will never agree with us on gay marriage. Here's something else. We'll move
What's that, man?
we'll move on. Oh, I don't know, but did you see this? This is disturbing. It kind of reminds me of Ted Nugent a little bit. This is from Huffington Post. Greene County, Virginia GOP group's newsletter calls for, quote, armed revolution if Obama is reelected. Great.
Well, there are some crazy people out there.
Here, I'll just read this quickly. It's short. A monthly newsletter published by the Greene County Republican Committee in Virginia is raising eyebrows for including a column in its March edition that calls for an armed revolution, no doubt led by Ted Nugent, if President Barack Obama is elected to a second term in November. Among articles denouncing a University of Virginia initiative to implement a living wage for employees of the institution, questioning if Obama is, quote, America's most biblically hostile U.S. president, and an op-ed slamming the GOP establishment with generous use of capital letters, Right Wing Watch picks out a column from the newsletter's editor, Ponch McPhee. I just heard, I think someone is trying to Skype with us. What did I just hear? I thought I just heard.
Maybe you should go back to our site, see if we're still on the air. Could that have been a warning? Yeah, we're all right.
We are.
Somebody is trying to
Is
Skype.
Someone's trying to Skype with us.
Or did someone just leave a message in your chat room?
It's Chris.
Okay. Yeah, he's trying to get in.
Chris, are you there?
Keep trying, Chris. I know you can get through. Is it you dialing in?
Chris.
What? He's there.
Hey, what's up? Oh, there we are. I don't know if there's Chris Rose, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, Chris? Welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed, the television edition.
Now, you always wear a jacket at your house? Is it cold in your home?
Is it cold there? Oh, it froze up. What?
I can barely hear you.
Really?
Wow. It's all the steel in the basement.
We can hear you.
No, we can't. We get horns. All we got.
Well, Chris, do you have any thoughts on what happened today?
Let's just say I'm more in love with Obama than have.
He's on his cell phone.
This, Chris, we're gonna let you go. This isn't working for some reason. You're breaking up on our end.
Why don't you have him call your cell phone?
Yeah, call.
Yeah, there's a connection here too.
Okay, yeah, we'll let you go.
Call Matt's cell phone. I think it might be more reliable at this point.
Oh, let's see. Corey J. Turner in the chat room says Chris's girlfriend's name is Palmala Anderson.
Very funny.
And Chris says, and her twin sister, Handy McDowell. And Corey J. Turner, mediocre comedian, says, I'm a big fan of armed revolution, like Article 10 of the New Hampshire Constitution. Well, I'm not a fan of armed revolution. But I do know people who are. McPhee writes in the newsletter, we shall not have any course. He spelled it. He spelled course wrong. We shall not have any course but armed revolution should we fail with the power of the vote in November. This republic cannot survive for 4 more years underneath this political socialist ideologue. Oh my goodness.
Well, you know, what happened in Europe, in the Middle East, could very well happen here. It's not impossible. Just because we're a republic that's more democracy than any other nation, more reason why it had a better chance of it happening because of our democracy. And we're losing a lot of our rights right now.
Yes.
Now, like SOPA did not pass. So
No.
what are the GOP doing now? They are slowly passing a piece of it at a time. They just did it with Facebook.
Interesting,
and
really.
Google as of a certain time, and there we go again. We're not going to be able to, they're going to be able to, the FBI will be able to get into the CIA, into your Facebook account, and check out whatever they want to check out.
By the way, this tonight's edition is a special edition titled Sony DCR TVR 19 Stamina Battery Life Super Steady Shot. That's a Matt Connarton Unleashed special that we're bringing to you tonight. So I hope you're all enjoying it. It's all set, Glenn. It's gone.
Wow.
Yes.
Remember using that camera.
Corey J. Turner says, thanks for the Sony Handycam demo. What does Glenn know about stamina? Oh my goodness. Well, that's why I'm here, Corey.
No response.
No response from Glenn R.J. Willett.
For him to figure out.
Yes. Oh my. Well then.
I do want to thank him for being on our Willett at Lodge last Friday. It was great. I hope he comes again.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, he's welcome anytime here on Matt Connarton Unleashed, the television edition. And I won't say too much about this because I'm not sure how much he's ready to say or mention. I don't want to make an official announcement.
Is he coming out of the closet?
But I don't know about that. I won't speak on that. But Corey says, quite welcome, folks. Always a good time. I do believe that Corey J. Turner is developing a show for IPMNation.com, and perhaps he'll bring it to QCE News as well. So very excited about that. I already know what the title is supposed to be and whatnot, but I won't say anything more unless I'm, given the good word to go ahead and do so.
I will say, Matt, that in the last week and a half, I've been talking to 4 or 5 different producers who are ready to start a show on QCE News.
Very good.
I'm hoping that as they do that, then maybe IPM Nation can also carry on.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we make great partners as long as we keep to our perspectives and not change our agendas.
No changing of agendas here. So, Glenn, now let me ask you, because we're sort of on the subject now. You're, Corey says, working hard on Sleepy Time, indeed. So I guess we can announce the name of the show. It's going to be called Sleepy Time.
Excellent.
So,
will you be doing it out of bedroom?
Well, I don't know. Oh my. Oh my.
I had to beg to ask the question.
Yes. Well, you didn't have to beg to ask. You simply asked.
Yeah, well, better than begging.
That's right. So, Glenn, now tell me, now, as a bisexual man, now you are Catholic, correct?
Yes, I am.
So how does that work in terms of your Catholicism?
Actually, it's very simple. If you go to Europe, there are 2 worldwide recognized saints, but the Europeans recognize them in the Catholic faith, and the Americans don't. These 2 saints were hung for being gay. And of course, as any other saint, they ended up creating miracles, and they became saints. So it's funny, if the Catholic Church can canonize 2 gay men as saints in Europe, but the American Catholic Church doesn't recognize it, what's wrong with that?
Corey corrected you and said it's hanged, not hung. Proper English, Glenn.
Oh, well, it's an after effect. They've already been hung.
Yes. Were they Asian?
No, they were European.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they were
It
part of
happened
the...
in Europe back in the, I don't know, 16, 1700s.
Thought maybe they were part of the hung family. So
I'm not going there.
Glenn knows about hung men, Corey says. So this is interesting. So I didn't know about this. So these 2 saints, they're recognized in Europe, but not in the U.S.?
Yeah, I actually have, I have to dig them out of my drawer somewhere because I got the postcards of them, and I'll just Google it again tomorrow and so we can get it in the next week's show or something.
Very interesting.
Yeah, again, that's kind of hypocritical.
So when you say they're recognized in Europe, so the Vatican recognizes them?
Well, you would think they would. I mean, they are actually saints. So if they're recognized in the Catholic Church as saints, the Vatican has to recognize them, and they would never become saints.
Chris says he has 2 of them as his co-host. Oh, hung men. I'm not. I'm Irish.
I wouldn't know, but Chris might.
Yeah, no.
You see how fast that was?
He would know about himself. Then again, we're all our own worst critic. I'm probably not as Irish as I think.
Oh, really?
So that's very interesting. So, did you grow up in the Catholic Church?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did they know at the church that you attended? I mean, I assume you went every Sunday when you were growing up, or?
Oh, definitely every Sunday, and we had confession. We had to go to confession once a month on a Saturday, and if we didn't go to confession, we never got supper. So it was, it was the old. And then we used to have during Lent, the 40 days of Lent, every Wednesday and Friday, you did not eat meat. It was the old strict religion way.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, to me, it built character, it built discipline. It's all good. It's all good stuff. But yeah, I mean, even as a kid, I used to play with trucks and with dolls, and no matter how much my mother tried to take away the dolls, and she kept telling me, you never really favored the doll more than the truck. You just had to have them both at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
one in each hand,
Mm-hmm.
and that should have told him something, you know. And you gotta realize that not. I don't think that's what made a difference. My mother wanted me to be a boy, and she was carrying me like my oldest daughter, my oldest sister, excuse me. And so she thought I was going to be a girl. I ended up being a boy, and so I wore a dress till I was 7 years old. That was like, I don't know what it was, but that did affect me from not going to school until I was 7 years old.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I spent my first 6 months in school wearing a dress, and then my grandmother finally told him this is going to stop because it was creating a problem for me and for the school.
Wow.
And of course, when you go back to school 6 months later and you're wearing, you know, coveralls and your name is no longer Glenda, it's Glenn, how do you think the kids will react?
Right.
Talk about bulliness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that has an effect, but no, on my being bisexual, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think at 2 years old, I knew what I was.
Right. Do you go to church now?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Not as often as I would like to, and some of it has to do with what I said earlier. Some of the preaching is just, it's too much and somewhat hypocritical at times. But I go as often as I can. I normally go on the west side because that's where my parish used to be, and I'm French.
You know, my father was actually in the seminary studying for the priesthood. He originally had intended to be a priest, and then he met the woman who would eventually become my mother. Lucky for me, and fell in love with her.
It's funny how you say that because I have a brother that went to seminary for 4 years, and then he finally decided that's not what he wanted to do. And then I thought, in my freshman year, I would deliver the Bangor Daily News up in the Van Buren area, and after that, I would go to church. On my freshman year, I went to church every single day that year because I needed to make a decision: am I gonna go in the seminary or not? I chose not to.
Yeah.
I chose to have a family.
Yeah.
What kind of family? I didn't think of that, but I did eventually get married, and I did have 6 boys of my own, and I adopted 2 others. And I also kept 98 children in a foster home, in our foster home when I was married for the 12 years. So, and the kids that I had in the foster home were the kids that were 12 to 22 years old, because in Maine you can stay in a foster home as long as you're in high school.
Okay.
Until you're 22. Versus in New Hampshire, once you're 18, your foster homes are out.
Sure.
Even though you're in school. But anyway, and they were last resort. If they left my house, they went to reformer school. That means they had already been skipping back and forth so many times. I have 1 out of 98 that ended up having to go to reformer school. The others were able to work on their issues, and they graduated. And today, I still receive a lot of cards from these people thanking them for changing their lives. And you know what?
That's great.
For those of you out there that are very cynical, not one of them is gay. Because I can hear people now, well, since you're homosexual, you must have changed something. You know, that's not how it works.
It's not how it works.
It's not how it works.
No.
And that's definitely not our intention when you raise families. I would hope not, because if it is, then you're sick.
Right. Chris says, my ex was studying to be a priest. That's interesting. You know, that brings up another thing, though, Glenn, too, is the other thing that Christians are so freaked out about, so many of them, it seems like they really do have this idea that gay people want to indoctrinate everybody.
Yeah, why is
like
that?
It's contagious or something, and then if you're around gay people, you're going to turn gay. And you know, I can tell you from my own experience as a straight person sitting here next to Glenn, I'm not turning gay or bi.
If you strongly believe in a religion, and another strong faith comes to you and tries to indoctrinate you, do you think if it's going to happen, it's because you let it happen?
You can't get it on you, is what Chris says. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, and just to be absolutely clear, not all Christians feel this way.
Of course not.
And I want to be very careful not to overgeneralize.
Actually, to me, it's a small minority.
Right. It probably is, but I know
it's a very strong minority.
I get the impression in the, shall we say, the southern half of the country, where you have a lot of evangelicals and you got a lot of good old boys who. But they really do. They think that you know, it's. I've heard Sean Hannity use the phrase "gay militant agenda." Like they think that you want to indoctrinate everyone, and some of them I think even believe that if you somehow ignore that there's gay people in the world, then maybe they'll just go away. You know, they don't want anyone acknowledging, in school that there's gay people, or welcome to the Stamina Up to 12 Hours Battery Life edition of Matt Connarton Unleashed, where using an optional battery is an option, I guess. This next segment is called Sony DCR TRV19 Stamina Battery Life Super Shot
We will fix the
touch panel.
We will fix the problem by next week.
Oh, we have some more chat room activity. Corey J. Turner says, why is having a sticker on your car saying you're gay acceptable, but it would be hateful to have one that says I'm straight? I don't think that would be hateful.
Yeah, we think not.
Uh,
But I'd like to go back to the your southern states.
Yes.
You a lot of these people in the South, they have a different definition of race than we do even to this day, of slavery than we do even to this day up in the Northeast here or in other parts of the country. So I respect that. I mean, I like it, but I'm going to live with it. But for them to try to doctrine their lifestyle into ours, it works both ways.
Chris in the chat room says, Christians who choose to use portions of the Bible to spew their hate. Corey says, Ahmadinejad says there are no gays in Iran.
Yeah, really. Tell me another one.
And welcome, Matt from Leominster is in the chat room. Welcome,
Hey, hi,
Matt from
Matt.
Leominster. So, Corey says, I remember when my best friend said, and okay. He
That's
didn't
it?
finish that thought. Yeah, he must be more typing. Oh, I'm not gay, but my boyfriend is. Yes.
Wow, that's strange.
But yeah, it's like they don't want some of these people. They're freaked out by the idea of they don't want there to be any gay teachers because I don't know. They think that it's going to turn the kids gay if they're exposed to gay teachers and whatnot.
To change the topic just a bit.
Yes.
Now they're on teachers, just to make a statement, and nothing to do with being gay, but the Little Green newspaper, which is the Central High School newspaper, won 4 huge awards, the most awards in New England for all the high schools in New England. Now, the teacher who graduated from Central High School and is a teacher there today and has been the adult advisor to that group, he was pink slipped this week.
Really?
So here we are taking the best of our teachers and telling them bye-bye. I would rather see some teachers who are not performing and saying, why do we keep hiring them?
Right.
There should be a performance when it comes to teaching. There should be I wouldn't call it a litmus test, but there should be a performance. Students should be learning.
I agree. Matt from Leominster in the chat room says, does anyone know the rate of same-sex divorce compared to straight divorce? That's interesting.
Actually, that's hard to there are no numbers right now, and that's because as long as America doesn't recognize gay marriage, how they're going to recognize gay divorce? So there's no statistics. The nation, the federal government does not recognize it, and so they'll never.
Right.
But it's probably I don't know. I can't say it's as high or lower because there are no statistics. But
right.
That's a good question. I'm sure there are some. I know of some that are.
I know too, and Gary talks about this a lot on Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades because he opposes gay marriage and actually voted to repeal it. John Heichel, who we had on the show last week, opposes gay marriage but voted against repealing it because he doesn't want to, now that it's been law for 2 years here in New Hampshire, he doesn't want to take it away. It's not practical, and obviously I agree with John's vote in that case. But Gary talks a lot about on Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades about how it's important to protect the institution of marriage because the family unit is so important, to having a strong country and whatnot, which I completely agree with. But I think where we disagree is I believe that allowing gay people, by allowing more people to participate, it actually strengthens the institution of marriage and not weaken it. I don't feel that it dilutes it. You're opening up that option to people who obviously want to get married, partially for legal reasons because they want all the rights and privileges that you get from an actual legal marriage, even beyond what you get with simply a civil union. But I think it actually strengthens the institution by allowing more people to participate.
Well, Matt, that when this first idea of gay marriage came into being some generation ago, roughly about 10 years ago, not quite sure when, but just about. There was a theory that a lot of the gays would have accepted straight marriage for one man, one woman would be a regular marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And a homosexual marriage or same-sex marriage, what they call it, 2 men or 2 women, would be civil unions.
Only civil union, yes.
That would be the only difference.
Right.
Every guarantee of rights that that heterosexual got in their marriage would be turned over to the gay marriage.
Right, that was the idea.
That never happened.
It
and
doesn't
that's
work that way.
when,
Right.
So I understand Obama when he says it's evolving,
Yes.
and that I really would have preferred civil unions. A lot of us did that too. We understood that. We weren't trying to take over the straight world. That's not what it's about.
Right, right.
Even though they say we're trying to indoctrinate ourselves into them. That's not.
So there is no gay militant agenda.
No.
There
is on their side.
Yes.
I mean, there was no way they were going to do that, and that's where the gay marriage came to be.
Oh, this is interesting. So Corey in the chat room says, can't find divorce rates, but found some fidelity rates. Then Matt from Lemonster says, someday we all, gay, straight, bi, trans, will be able to call it marriage and not classify it as gay versus straight. And then Corey says, a study from the Netherlands found 75.5% fidelity rates for married straight men versus 4.5 for gay men in a relationship.
Wow.
Well, that's interesting.
That's a big difference.
Um,
So who's ruining the family? In this case, anyway?
well, Corey is a conservative. So then I would ask you, Corey, as a conservative, are you do you oppose gay marriage? Now, Corey being a young man, a lot of younger
He probably
conservatives are pro gay
understands,
marriage, but I don't know. So because the statistics that he's bringing to us would almost seem to bolster his argument from his perspective. Chris Rose says, we have a hidden agenda. We just can't tell you what it is, hence the hidden.
Oh.
And
Who's we?
Chris says, well, gay people.
Oh.
He's full on gay. He's not half
Yes,
like you,
yes.
or 75-25. And Chris says, but who knows? It's the Netherlands. Well, that's true. It is
Well,
the
that's
Netherlands.
true, but-
They're a little different over there.
But that speaks well for the Netherlands because it's a lot sexually it's a lot freer there than it is here. It's probably the freest area in the country.
Oh, I didn't know
in
that.
the whole world.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
going.
It's a very open society.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not really going there.
No, I don't think you're going there.
I don't think. No, probably not.
I won't mention who might go, but I might offend them.
Oh my.
Wouldn't want to offend anybody. But anyway,
Why not?
that is interesting as a fact. And
Chris,
if anybody had a survey, it would have been them.
Corey goes on to say, no argument from me. I try to stay out of it, but I'm not for gay marriage. Fully support civil unions. I believe in traditional marriage.
But he would also, if he believes in traditional marriage and he believes in civil unions, I bet you he would say yes. That would be the only difference. You get the same rights. Is that correct, Corey?
By the way, he does go on to say, and it is between me and some chick with large cans. That's his idea of traditional marriage. Himself and some chick with large cans. And
The government.
I
needs
certainly
to-
won't argue with that.
The government needs. They create a lot of our problems.
Large cans?
No, they
They
create
do,
a lot of our
'cause-
problems.
Oh,
They need
sorry.
to stay out of our bedrooms. I don't understand. It should be first of all, when marriage first came around, it wasn't a government thing. It was a religious thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's government, mostly because money.
Yes.
How much money can I take out of your wallet?
Corey says same rights, yes, different title.
Yeah, you see, that would have passed amongst both sides if the government would have accepted it, but they didn't.
Corey says he's for government subsidized large cans.
I don't think so.
Now the only problem with that, Corey, I'm with you on the large cans,
It'd be made of steel.
but as a conservative, you have to admit if government is subsidizing the large cans, then that does inject some socialism into the cans in question. You're not supposed to. I think if an enlargement is done, it should be done with what are they saline or something, whatever they put in them.
Saline.
Not socialism, Corey. Please.
Now,
I'm not even a conservative, and I make a distinction there.
Here's something that came out today as well. Is just as important, I think, as gay marriage, and but on a different issue. And talk about government waste. Our government, through the U.S. land security, what's called land security,
Mm-hmm.
to save money, to save the American people money in their wallets, taxes and money. They did this big contract to make hundreds of thousands of these machines for the airports. But what they did is they didn't need them all. So they put them all in a warehouse in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have about half your airports that don't have them because they claim they can't afford to have them. But they're there in a warehouse not being used, and we've already paid for it.
Yes.
What's wrong with that picture?
That
Talk
is
about
wrong.
waste.
That is wrong.
So we could keep ourselves more secure. Here we go again. And in turn, we're warehousing the equipment.
By the way, as we begin to wrap up, I want to thank everyone for joining the Welcome to the Sony Handycam edition of Matt Connarton Unleashed Television Edition. There's good stuff in the chat room. Before we wrap up, I have to read this. So Corey says, socialized cans, still a stimulus for my package. And Matt from Leominster says, we certainly would have rising rates on that. And Chris says, cut it out, Corey. You're starting to stimulate my package. Ooh, it's getting hot in here.
Well, what? He's not interested. Chris is not interested in canalized balls, is he?
Oh my goodness, I don't know.
Ayoy.
Wow, yes, stamina only for cans. Corey says. Well, so those are some. That's a stimulus package I would vote for.
Because
certainly.
Corey wants to go boom, 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 boom.
Yes, and maybe do the motorboat.
Yeah.
So I think that's something we can all agree on is big cans, both Democrats and Republicans. That's good for stimulating.
Where's your time on here?
Oh, it's about that time. It's 8:59.
Well, we started a few minutes late.
Yes.
What do you think about the
Cans for America?
the new bomb, the new diaper bomb, the new underwear bomb? What do you think of that? And what do you think of this guy who thinks that? I mean, talk about being devious.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about being evil.
Mm-hmm.
This guy who is inventing this is going to the point now that he wants to inject a bomb in a person's body, in kids, and in animals to put on planes. What is society turning to?
Here's what I wonder about. What if someone, suppose a Mormon has a bomb injected into them, but they also at the same time are wearing the magic underwear that Mormons wear to protect them? Does that then diffuse the bomb?
It's not a Mormon thing. I mean, you just said so that protect them. The Mormons don't wear diapers to protect them.
No, they wear magic underwear. Yes, we can.
Okay.
That's funny. Cans Across America. That's an organization I would like to sponsor us.
There's a new show starting next week on one of the big networks. I forget which one it is, but it's called Sister Sister, and it's on polygamy.
Really?
Yes, that's a Mormon show.
Oh, very good.
That should be interesting. 1 man, 4 wives, 17 kids, and they have 4 houses, one after another.
No kidding.
It should be an interesting show to watch.
That sounds like a stressful life.
I would think so.
So
And you better have a good job.
Mitt Romney only has 1 wife. He's
does.
clearly not a good Mormon. I would not support him. He obviously doesn't believe in his own religion.
Well, you're not a Mormon either, though.
I'm not a Mormon.
And it's funny.
I've never been married at all.
In the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years,
One Mormon,
it's-
lots of
it's-
cans.
it's pretty much only the 12 apostles of the Mormons that are allowed to have more than 1 wife.
Yes.
Polygamy is not as drawn in that religion as it used to be.
Right.
Although this 1 man, there are a couple, there are people that still do it who are not one of the upper apostles, so to speak. But it's not a big thing in this country. It really is not.
Right.
I don't advise it. Do you?
What, being a Mormon?
No. Polygamy.
No. I've never been married at all.
What would you do with 4 wives? Supporting them and all the children. There's, you want to be, you want to have.
There are some obvious
Well,
advantages.
there are advantages, but you have to pay for those advantages as well.
Right. Yes.
17 kids, and now he's asking for help. I need help. We'll go
It-
back to work.
It does sound.
A little bit selfish, don't you think?
It does. Elizabeth Edwards, no cans. Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's another story I'm not going to go through today.
Hey, before we wrap up, speaking of Elizabeth Edwards, John
I
Edwards.
feel bad for her. Oh, she's passed.
Well, she's dead now.
Still,
But,
things she had to go through.
yes. John Edwards. He's on trial for what John Edwards is my hero, Chris Rose says. He's going through this trial in North Carolina. My question is this, and this is not, I'm not making an ethical or moral judgment here. Well, actually I am. I think he's a bad guy.
When it comes to that issue.
Two things though. Yes, when it comes to that issue. Actually, first of all, Rielle Hunter, have you seen her? She's not that hot. So I don't know why the guy ruined his political career for her. I mean, first time I saw a picture of her, I thought she'd be hot. She's not. But here's the thing.
To you, she's not.
No, apparently he likes her. Whatever. Maybe he was drunk. Corey J. Turner says 2 Americas, one with $400 haircuts and the other.
Presume have one with no costs. If he goes to jail, they don't charge you.
That's right. He'll get free haircuts in prison.
A buzz.
Here's the problem, though. If that money was being used to hide his illegitimate child,
Which is what they claim.
and to keep Rielle Hunter happy, to keep her quiet. Again, putting the moral and ethical judgment aside, is it really illegal? Because can't you make the argument that that money was used for his campaign?
But
it would have ended his campaign had that information come
Well,
out. So therefore, in theory,
but the laws that were created for the campaign money where it can be used is not to support a mistress and another child. That's not what it was there for. It was there when you donate to a campaign, it's for that candidate to use to run for office. She's not running for office.
no, but again, if that information, if we
It's
had
dishonest.
found out about Rielle Hunter, I'm not saying it's not dishonest,
Dishonest.
but I'm just saying, if we had found out about her, that would have been the end of the campaign.
Well, we did find out about it. It was the end of the campaign.
Well, afterward, yes.
Well, he tried again.
In
In fact, Obama actually considered him as the vice president until people said, you better look into this here because
yeah, better look into that. Yeah.
good thing he did.
Chris says maybe he'll meet a nice convict with huge cans.
Not in prison.
No.
He'll meet a nice convict with maybe a huge balls.
Yes.
What goes around comes around.
That's right. He'll get to meet Bubba, who likes his pretty little haircut.
All right, we need to snap
We'll-
to round
we'll-
it up.
We'll wrap up. It's getting a little salty in here.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for joining us for the what did I say this was? The Sony Handycam edition of Matt Connarton Unleashed Television Edition.
Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers. And remember, the sun is coming out.
The sun is coming out. I'm not coming out to my mom. I'm not gay.
You're going to wish her a happy Mother's Day, aren't you?
Yes,
There you go.
but I'm not going to come out to her.
Well, no, I said the sun is coming out.
Oh, the sun is coming. Well, you said the sun if your
Well, I
mother's
meant
son.
the sun. The sun.
Oh, the sun in the sky. Yes. All right. I was very confused there, Glenn. I was like, what are you trying to say?
You're
You are
always
trying to indoctrinate all of us.
No,
It's
you
true.
are always
There is a gay militant agenda.
I don't think so.
All right. Anyway, thanks everybody. Join us Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here at QCNews.com or IPMNation.com/Willette for
Well, at large, and be surprised who the guest might be. And don't forget Sunday night at 9:30, verbal ejaculation.
yes.
You can see that on your show.
Yes, absolutely.
Chris must love that.
We've been talking about cans for 10 minutes. I think you can say verbal ejaculation.
It is only verbal after all.
That's right. Yes, we don't. Yeah. No.
Enjoy the week. See you
Yes.
Friday.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye bye.
You got to go shut that off. So
Oh.
we're still on the air. This is where I drag out the saying goodbye because we're actually still on the air until Glenn goes and does his thing. So everybody go and enjoy some huge cans and think of me. That's how we'll end tonight. I'm ready.